right. Come on now. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what day it is. It's Thursday. It's the Remix Morning Show right here on Black Power Media. Y'all ready? It's that boom bap breakfast. I am the ear doctor. Let me introduce you to your host today. You got Burn It Down, Kim Brown, Kamal K. Franklin, and Jackie Lupman.
Hey, the reverb on that reverb. That shit's a nice.
Fix your face.
No, that fix your face was for Kamal.
Just thought we had something between us here, Doctor. Just thought we had something between us.
You know.
There's promises made.
See, that's what he get.
There's promises made.
Promises broken, Kamal. Clearly.
You was a little light this month. A little light.
A little bit.
Oh, I wasn't talking. See, I
What?
wasn't even talking about that.
Oh, that was not a light skin joke. It could have been.
Oh,
money. Well, yeah, it always could be.
Word. How y'all doing?
Bro, fine.
hey, revolutionary greetings, Africans of all shades and proclivities.
Word. Shout out to the class of 88 and everyone born in 88. Good morning.
Who you born in 88?
There's a lot of people born in 88. Come on. These people will be 30 plus.
Damn sure
I thought about, something dawned on me, and it was like somebody born in 1980 is now 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? It's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like the 80s don't seem that far. I mean, obviously they are now 40 years away, or close to 40 years away. But I'm like, what the hell? Where'd the time go?
All these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you say kids, I mean, because I was born in 78.
I was born in 1967. I'm 55.
Me too. That's why we would have been perfect for each other back in the day.
No, stop. Abdus, what's on? Stop.
Right.
He didn't mean it. It's jokes, babe. It's jokes.
He's gonna come through the spiritual realm and lift you up, Kamal.
Don't rain down on me. I got enough problems. My bad. All humor. Abdus, all humor.
Nah,
I don't know. I'm like, ha, motherfucker.
I don't know if you could have pulled Jackie Lupman back in the day, Kamal, because I've seen pictures of you when you were in your 80s, not in your 80s, but in the 80s, and you were giving me big James DeBarge vibes, bro. I don't know if Jackie was checking for James DeBarge.
I was not checking for
First of all, who's James DeBarge? I don't know who James is. That their daddy? James DeBarge?
James is the one who married Janet. That was Janet's first husband.
I don't even give El DeBarge vibes. I give James.
James.
Wow, that's
like Marlon Jackson. Hey, yo.
Okay.
Real quick. Big up to Trent Smith. We got a new member. Trent Smith.
Good.
Welcome. Thank you.
And somebody just dropped some money, some euros.
$2 from Quint Wolf.
Hey,
Big up, burn it down with Kim Brown.
Hey, Quint.
Nice.
Thank you. Appreciate my UK folks coming true. Thank you, Quint. We appreciate that.
Y'all
I can drop some love for me too.
I don't see that love yet, Kamal. Where's that? Is that coming later?
Anyway. Don't cry. Don't cry.
It's too late. It's just too late.
There's nothing sadder than a man who's crying and it's not me that made him cry. Don't.
Hey. I like that.
I'll leave the comment, but I do back what you were saying, Kim. I do think back. I would have been persistent. You know what I'm saying? Little rose here, little rose there. Would have showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, girl.
I mean, but would you have taken Jacqueline Lupman to the Bad Brain show? These are my questions. Because Jackie was trying to see
Bad Brain. See that face?
Right.
Exactly.
He said no
I got tickets to the DeBarge concert. You want to come see my brother perform?
Your whole family.
Backstage and everything.
Don't forget Bunny DeBarge.
Bunny, that's right. Bunny, that's right. You get a little verse of ooh, and I like it. You know what I'm saying?
It just, and I just would have been sitting there like,
You're like light skin vibes.
Did you hear that sigh of exasperation when you come out and said that? Jackie said no.
Okay.
How y'all doing otherwise?
Oh,
grand.
Struggling, but here I am. We
are so happy to see you, Jackie. So happy.
I know.
How are you, Kamal?
What are you up to?
How was school this morning?
You get the kids out of the house. You're not in the kids' room.
It's always a struggle to get them, the time I need them to get out. There's always like these last minute things. But I'm a good daddy.
Hey,
you threw them kids out that car again, didn't you?
Out the window.
Always that.
Kamal, are they trying to reduce the indoor mask usage in the area in which your children attend school?
They have not done that one, but they are trying. What they are trying to do is have more in-person gatherings. So things that were suspended, they're trying to figure out how to do them safely, as they say, and then have us come back. And like there's these things called expedition nights where the kids present and all that kind of stuff. And those things have been canceled and only held online. And when they're held online, I'm sure these bad parents like us, there's never going to be a time where we remember to attend those things. Like, what? That happened? That was 3 days ago? Kind of thing. So, but I just feel like the whole, it just seems like there's COVID. But there's like COVID exhaustion, it feels like, and it's being pushed because there's no policies. So everybody's just kind of like, it is what it is. I went to a restaurant the other day, like with the kids. What's the pancake house? The House of Pancakes, whatever the hell it's called. That one. Like, I know that too fast. The AHA. And it was packed and there was no mask. I was just like, well, what the hell? Are we the only family with a mask on? White, black, like I don't care what they were. There was like no mask. It was us and the waitresses.
I actually, I did my monologue about that yesterday, about how all the news is talking about how everybody's going through pandemic fatigue and people are tired of the pandemic, and aside from people having the gall to write those kind of articles when 908,000 people have died in this country from this virus in a little over 2 years. Just the fact that really people aren't tired of the pandemic. People are tired of capitalism and the way this capitalist government did not respond to taking care of people in the midst of this pandemic. If we had a system where the government didn't, force people to keep working and call them so-called essential workers and make banners calling them heroes and giving them free coffee and temporary $2 an hour wages, raises, and instead of paying people to stay home so they could pay their bills, make sure they had food, pay their rent and their mortgage while we all waited this fucking virus out and it could, go away, die down, whatever we could. Instead of providing mass testing, mass tracing, none of that. We got some crumbs and some free coffee and some banners that said, welcome our heroes and thank our heroes. So people in this country are really tired of capitalism, but most Americans, USians, are honestly too devoted to capitalism to even admit that it's capitalism they're tired of. Aside from the folks that don't understand that, no, it's capitalism that's killing you. Yeah, this pandemic has been horrible, but capitalism has made it worse. Aside from the folks who don't recognize that, who don't understand that, the people who know, I think there are plenty of people who know now that capitalism is the problem, but they're so afraid to let go of capitalism that they don't want to admit that, no, they're tired of capitalism. So, you know, all of the media outlets, all of the politicians hop on this, you know, everybody's tired of the pandemic ban. Well, you know, ain't nobody more tired of this virus than those 908,000 people and their families who are dead. You know, ain't nobody more tired of this virus than folks like me and other people who have medical conditions that would be dangerous if we caught even the weakest form of this virus. That ain't nobody more tired than us. So people just need to get real about what this is. This is a twin pandemic of the coronavirus and capitalism in this country and in other capitalist countries in particular. That's what people are tired of. That I just
No, it very much reminds me, this is a strange analogy, but the volcano eruption in the Canary Islands that happened a couple months ago. I'm sure the people in the Canary Islands are tired of the volcano erupting, right? What are you going to do? Tell the volcano to stop erupting? You understand? Like, there are certain things on this planet where nature is just more powerful than man. We cannot will this pandemic away. COVID-19 is not going away just because we are tired of it. And the fact that there are not policies coming down the pipeline to anticipate the next variant and the next surges, it's very scary. And I feel bad for people who are parents. I feel bad for people who have who are immunocompromised. There is a federal lawsuit right now working its way through Virginia for parents of disabled children are suing the governor, Glenn Youngkin there, who has via executive order, it said that masking in public schools should be optional for parents to decide, whether or not their kids wear masks. And one of the women who are leading this lawsuit has a child who has cystic fibrosis, which is a respiratory condition. And I think about, we talked about this before, how the CDC listed all these comorbidities, all these pre-existing conditions that could lead people who get COVID, regardless of their vaccination status, to become very ill. So if you have children with asthma, or you have children who people with lupus, I mean, there's so many ranges of immunocompromisation diseases, illnesses, ailments that you can't see just by looking at somebody. You don't recognize an immunocompromised person just by passing them by. And the fact that all these indoor masking mandates are about to go away, especially in schools, that is telling disabled people and immunocompromised people, hey, we don't really give a fuck if you die. We don't care if you die. We don't care if you get sick. We don't care if you die and sick, all the people who live in your household. So we're not done with this. This virus is not done with us. And I'm afraid that many, many more people, specifically in our community, are going to succumb to COVID-19 before it's all said and done.
Exactly. And just to be clear, you know, the whole vaccine mandate thing, this is treating a symptom of a disease. Mask mandates, while I don't entirely disagree with them, that's not the solution. The solution was to respond to the virus. The solution was to take care of people to respond to the virus. All capitalist countries had was vaccine and mandates. That's all they had. And had they provided those other things that were needed for people to be safe, for all people to be safe, people wouldn't have been too up in arms about a mask mandate if they were able to stay home and, you know, pay their bills and make sure they had food to eat and nobody was getting evicted and you know, nobody had to go to work and catch the virus, and you know, meat processing workers didn't have to stay on the line and catch COVID and die because niggas in this country need their chicken wings. You know what I mean? If this country had taken care of people as the virus emerged, and the virus, as they do, because they're viruses, they don't care about our feelings, it reemerged, and then maybe down the line the government had to impose a mask mandate after other things were done, people wouldn't have been opposed to that if they saw that their government was taking care of people. How do I know that's true? Look at Cuba, look at Venezuela, look at Vietnam, look at China. So
You're talking about societies where that have a better sense of community. Like this rugged individualism, that shit is pathological in America, particularly amongst white people. You know what I mean? And the reason why the protocols are so lackadaisical around COVID, especially as we continue onward, is because white people were comfortable with who died. You understand? They were cool with kitchen staff dying. They were cool with transportation people, providers, people who drive the metro buses. They were cool with them folks dying. You understand? So that's what kills me. like all the people that died were basically sacrificed for this economy.
Yeah.
That's it. Like I said, that's capitalism. That's the world we live under. But speaking of somebody who's not, well, he's kind of capitalist.
He's big. He capitalist.
Yes, he capitalist. He's too broke to be capitalist. You know how people think they're capitalists?
I mean, he's underground capitalist.
They want to be capitalists, but he don't own no means of production.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't own the means of those bootleg DVDs. He don't.
He owned them turntables. That's his means of production.
See.
Loan. They're loaners.
Yeah. In the words of Birdman, y'all done? Anyway, I'm in the barbershop getting my hair done and cut and all that beard, right? I'm gonna go see Wu-Tang tonight. We got we got what is it? Raekwon, Ghostface, and Jizza.
And they got that Zionist on there now. They still got that Zionist.
They got rid of that guy, man.
Thank God. Okay. Whoop.
Yeah. Remy or whatever his name is. But also, guess what? Next week, I'm going to go see New Edition, Jodeci, and Charlie Wilson.
What? Is that a real lineup?
Yes, they coming to Atlanta later, but I'm going to Columbus to go see them next week.
Oh my God!
New Edition, Jodeci, and Charlie Wilson.
Wilson. That's right. You gotta say it like that, Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson.
All the other brothers, but they can't do the Gap Band all together. Why is this Charlie by himself?
There you go. You always look at
I didn't know. I know one day.
I'm a hip hop dude out here in the barbershop talking this talk, man.
Remix morning show.
What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? Welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and y'all in the right place at the right time. Make sure y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also tell a friend to tell a friend. Yes, it is on again. Hit that notification, and you will know all the new stuff that's coming. All right, so yeah, we chilling in the barbershop right about here, right about now, and we was talking about all the stuff that's going on in hip hop right now. So first, you got big up to no other than Snoop Doggy Dogg, who is now the owner of Death Row Records. That's right. I didn't know rappers still sign the record labels, but big up to Snoop on acquiring Death Row Records. And he's also about to drop his new album on Death Row. And for the Super Bowl this weekend, he will be on a halftime show. So it's a big week for Snoop Dogg. Big up to the consistency of being there and making it happen. Next, let's go to NY and talk about a new phenomenon, drill rap. This right here is a picture of a bunch of drill rappers that have died. So it's a lot of drill rappers dying that pretty much get on real hard beats and talk about murder, murder, kill, 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 kill. You got two that just passed in the last week. You got T. Woo and Shy Wiz, but I'm gonna call him what his mom called him, Jaquan. Pretty much they got killed, and it's happening a lot. I mean, if you put that energy out there, it's most likely gonna happen. The one thing is you got a DJ on the radio that said, you know what, I'm gonna stop playing this drill rap. So Hot 97's DJ Drewski said, I am no longer playing this gang rap on the radio. We losing too many of y'all. About time somebody up there took a stand. So other than that, we got somebody I want to talk about right here, right about now. And man, let me tell you, I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Help me understand this, y'all. Please help me understand certain people like Jim Jones, who, oh man, let's I don't know what just happened there. No, don't do that. It keep doing it. So you know what? We're not gonna go there. But let me talk about Jim Jones real quick. So Jim Jones pretty much goes into a Gucci store, doesn't get the treatment he wants, and gets on Instagram and bitches and complains about not getting treated like a money-making Negro. Oh my goodness. Dude, you got like Vamp Life clothes, your own clothesline. Wear it, promote it, do your own thing. I wear ear doctor shirts. You ain't got to rock no Gucci. Gucci don't love you. Man, anyway. So yeah, that's Jim Jones, and that's pretty much your news for the day. Other words, Asian doll, the former girlfriend of King Vaughn, she pretty much told what was it, DJ Vlad to suck her. I was like, word, that's what ladies saying nowadays. Okay, I get it, but DJ Vlad definitely needed that. Other than that, Nelly and Fizz up there uploading their junk onto the social media. It's too much going on in these streets. Anyway, I'm about to go listen to some jazz music. I'm tired of these Negroes. Now, let's get it back to the morning host. Yeah. Yeah.
Why is Snoop Dogg buying Death Row, B? I mean, that's like me buying Rubik's Cube. What's the point? I mean, what the fuck?
I'm curious though. Is it just the label, or did he acquire the catalog? Like I need more details. He
acquired the whole label from a group that owned it. That was part with Suge and them. But yeah. So I mean,
I'm assuming
I don't
understand. The catalog.
I guess
everything they own. Yeah, if he got the label.
Yeah, I mean.
Do they? I mean, like who else is on there besides him? Like, does he need that route to put his own music out?
Come on, all those Tupac albums, all those Tupac albums were on Death Row. The Chronic was on Death Row. Like there was a lot of big records that was released on Death Row Records.
You gonna get some money?
I don't know.
I mean, people don't want to sign a Snoop just because now. It's like, you know what? Treat me right. You came up under the camp of Master P, who helped you out. Do me right. I don't know. We'll see.
He's a capitalist, so I don't expect that to happen.
And who's the white DJ who said he's not playing the music no more?
DJ Drewski. Okay. He's on Hot 97.
That's all I saw.
DJ was like, nope.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, that's what y'all hiring these days. That's what y'all hiring these days.
Come on, white people created hip hop. Come out, you don't know Eminem was the founding father of hip hop.
Debbie Harry.
Hey, don't forget. You'll never live that down, bro. You better do some better parenting over there.
I'm working on it.
It made me light.
All right.
Who was even playing Vanilla Ice for this child? This is my question. Who even played Vanilla Ice for the baby?
Her 50-year-old white parents or the kids that she around. That's who paying. They like ice, baby.
Hold on. Wait, ear doctor, before you go, come on, do me a favor. Check the chat. Because listen, this ain't news, but that Jim Jones shit was funny. Okay. We just gotta look at this for laughs. It's in the chat, man. Jim Jones went on Instagram and was crying because ain't nobody bring him no champagne for 2 hours.
Is that what he said? Oh, you put it down in the chat? I'm gonna open it up, y'all. Yeah, it sounds like you got it.
Go ahead.
For those who have not heard the Jim Jones rap, let me get it set up here.
Please, my internet is acting up. But yeah, man, I'm like, yo, stop crying about not being treated a certain way going up into these ritzy stores. They don't want you there.
Well, first of all, he named himself Jim Jones. First of all.
Okay, well, let me rewind it.
This is just for fun.
We in Gucci for about an hour, right? And we in Gucci in the VIP.
Like 2 hours.
Right? Since we came in here, having nobody came and showed us no courtesy, no amenities, no nothing.
What?
Period. Not even a drink of water.
True.
Asked to speak to the manager. Send me a black guy out here that start telling me some bullshit. So they got the black guy racial profiling on black people. Asked to speak to a manager bigger than him. Everybody disappeared. Ain't nobody come out yet. I still ain't getting I still ain't get no sparkling water.
Nope.
I still ain't get no champagne.
What?
I still ain't get nothing. I didn't have a salesperson inside of my VIP suite the whole time I was there. I had to keep screaming for VIP people to help me out.
What the fuck?
Now everybody don't know where the real manager is. You heard? I'm tired of this. You're spending all this money as entertainers inside these stores. They hire these black people, and these black people are more racist than white people when they get their job inside of Gucci. All of a sudden, you stop playing with us, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Still haven't seen a manager yet. Still haven't seen a manager yet. Since I'm talking to you right now, a manager still hasn't popped out of Gucci. And the bill is like $29,000, but we didn't pay that yet. You heard?
Oh my God.
Why would we? They still haven't sent a manager or bottle of sparkling water or anything that says that we appreciate your service for being in here in Gucci.
You dropped
spending that bag.
$29,000 on
The
Gucci.
big one. They said
I like Jim Jones. He's a very charismatic person, but
He dropped
brother's
29 G's.
Ignorant ass.
No, hold on. Kamau, he did not spend $29,000 in Gucci, obviously because of the terrible service that he received. A man of his stature, in the Gucci store. So here's what Jim Jones did. Him and his entourage left the VIP suite where they couldn't even get a drop of sparkling water. Oh my God, the horror!
Sparkling water.
And they walked they ass down the street to Bergdorf's, where they gladly spent $30,000 at Bergdorf's. I said, this nigga is led astray.
We showed them.
We wasted our money. We showed them. We went to another bunch of white people and gave them $30,000.
Tell them, yes, the facts.
When I see something like that, man, I just.
My man said, not even sparkling water did you get me.
Didn't get no spark.
What's the matter with us?
Don't say us. Ain't no us.
He is actually trying to make an argument for being racially profiled. It's like me. Remember when Oprah went into that? What was that? Handbag store in wherever it was. It was and she was mad because they had like $30,000 handbags, and she was mad because the little white sales girl was like,
right, I don't know who you are.
Right.
And Oprah was like, don't you know I'm Oprah? I can never put. But why are you giving these people your money? And oh my God, this is capitalism.
Jim Jones got his own clothing line, and he's up here spending money on other people. I'm done, man. I'll catch y'all next week.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got to share that with y'all. I felt that y'all needed to see that. Y'all needed to see
that.
Fuck
the bourgeois class. Fuck them. Fuck them.
That was hilarious, though. It was hilarious. Is it time? Is it time?
Is it time to slap the map?
Slap the map. Who got news? Who got news?
Oh, we got all kinds of news.
Who got news?
First, I want to start out by saying that I said that if I was wrong about Whoopi Goldberg, I would come on here and apologize. And I was wrong. You were right, Kamau. You were right. I was wrong. And see, I'm an adult. I can do these things because I had not watched the clip. I didn't see the clip. I read what she said, but I didn't watch the clip. But after
does it mean we're going to get dinner? Does it mean we're going to get dinner?
So what?
Dinner? Sorry, it's news time. It's serious time. Sorry.
I'm not trying to get stabbed by your wife.
in the
all in humor. I'm not trying to get stabbed again.
Oh, I want to be an accomplice to it.
Tread lightly.
I need a second stabbing. My shoulder still hasn't recovered.
It's all jokes, folks. It's all jokes. We all fail. So I finally watched the clip. I watched the clip, and look, you were right. She was making the point about the way the Holocaust is the Nazi Holocaust, the Jewish Holocaust is prioritized over every other Holocaust in history that was definitely about race. Because when she made the comment, she was like rubbing her hand, rubbing her skin, right? And she was saying, look, this was not about race. This was so in that way, yes, she was right. She was right. What was done to the Jews in Nazi Germany was not about the color of their skin. Yes, the Nazis did have this fucked up white supremacist master race ideology that everybody was excluded from, that was not a part of the master race. Anyone who was disabled, anyone who was gay, anybody who were, intellectuals who did not agree with Nazi ideology, people of faith, the Roma people who are definitely European, right? So yes, in that, and the Nazis did present this idea that the Jewish people were a race, which is also not true, but that's what they used to do, right? So yes, I agree, you're right. However, the problem with Whoopi Goldberg is that she spent all of her professional career pretty much making her place in white entertainment society to the point where she alienated herself from very folks she was trying to advocate for in that moment. So she couldn't explain why the Jewish Holocaust was not, more grievous or the only Holocaust that existed when let's talk about the Congo. Let's talk about 10 million Congolese slaughtered by King Leopold. But I hate to call it King Leopold, by Leopold. Let's talk about the indigenous genocides, because we're talking about the Americas, not just North America, but the Americas. Let's talk about the genocide of the transatlantic or the multi-continent human trafficking crime against humanity called the transatlantic slave trade, which is not just across the ocean, but involved several continents where millions of Africans were stolen from that. So she is so disconnected from her own Blackness, and she did it to herself to chase that paper, that she couldn't explain what we've been saying pretty much all our radical, careers or whatever, because we know the history. And so I just wanted to start off by saying, look, I said I would admit that I was wrong if I was wrong, and I was wrong. Thank you for Kamal. But that does not mean that Whoopi Goldberg didn't get what she deserves. This is what, and you the oppressors. This is what happens. She thought she would be safe, that they would protect her, that they would welcome, just like the nigga they've always seen her as. So I don't feel sorry for her. I mean, yeah, her suspension is bullshit, but she did it to herself. So that's my contribution for today's show.
And Kim, it sounded like you had some sticking on this theme of, like, I feel like I got a story later, but I feel like we had a couple of stories of folks who've been selling out our folks. And so I think you dropped something on the chat. You want to start with that one, Kim? Because I'll bring it up.
I did. And I'm happy that you're here, Kamal, because I think when we're talking about Al Sharpton and is he friend or foe, I think it's really important to get New Yorkers' perspective on this, because you've been watching him for longer. But anyway, so this clip was making the rounds on social media yesterday. And Al Sharpton, we all know, the head of the National Action Network, longtime advocate for Black people, also MSNBC host, this is what happens. I pulled this clip for a couple reasons. So first of all, this is the amount of police propaganda that is just very much normalized in the media cycle in mainstream news continues to be alarming as it is insidious, right? So when we have people on all sides of the aisle calling for increasing of police funding and using these stories about retail theft and shoplifting rings, and if we don't address this rising tide of crime with additional police and more police funding, then our society's just gonna crumble. And it was shameful to see Al Sharpton engaging in this type of propaganda, especially considering the type of theft that was being discussed. So that's the setup for the clip. Let's take a look at this. This is from Morning Joe yesterday on the MS, the NBCs.
Walking in and walking out with it.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you go to a local pharmacy, Drain Reed or Rite Aid, any of them, and you got to get someone to help assist you. I mean, they have the little button there. Yep. You hit the buzzer, and the guy comes over and unlocks your toothpaste. Yes. I mean, we're talking about basic stuff. What did I miss that we now have to lock up toothpaste?
Yeah, and
I'm just curious, Rev, really quickly. I mean, Eric Adams said he's going to do his best to fix this. I'm just curious. I mean, he's got a governor who's saying, well, I don't know that we want to give the judges any power to make decisions on whether they've seen the same bad guy in front of them like 12 times in the past week. And then you've got a DA. I know you talked to the DA. The DA's going, oh, we don't want to punish anybody unless it's like really bad. You know, so yeah, you can steal whatever you want to steal. And yeah, we won't do any jail time. And then you've got, then you've got a woke city council. I'm just curious, is Eric Adams going to be able to do anything? Well, he's obviously surrounded by elected officials who want New York to remain chaotic.
Well, I think he's got a challenge there because there is a debate in the criminal justice system, and there are those that are concerned, including me, about overloading the system and the jails with petty crime. But at the same time, you cannot have a culture where people are just at random, just robbing and stealing, and is out of control, and is put on the front page of newspapers, which only encourages others to do it.
Oh, man, fuck this
Eric,
dude.
he's only been there 5 weeks. But but even as a fed him, Eric, you're locking up my toothpaste.
I'll say that first hamburger come here, coach, just makes me hungry for a few hours. But I think it's also a larger issue, though. There is a sort of sense that things aren't quite right. The city's a little bit out of control. Crime is up in 72 of the 77 NYPD precincts.
That's enough. That's quite enough. Quite enough. And let me say this real quick. So at the onset of the clip, what they came in the clip discussing was the apparent theft of 10 steaks from a New York City Trader Joe's. And they were upset that someone had the audacity to go in there and steal food. And then you hear the good reverend talking about he's upset that his toothpaste is locked up. And it's amazing that you had all these folks sitting around discussing this issue, but doing everything they can to go around the issue, over top of the issue, underneath the issue. They just avoided the issue that people are out here hurting, struggling. Housing costs in New York City are astronomical. The rate of inflation for people going to the grocery store and putting gas in their tank is ridiculous. People are out here hurting very mightily. And if folks got to go in and steal toothpaste and steal necessities, their toiletries that they literally need to preserve their hygiene, or even go in and steal food, nigga, why is this fucking news? Why is that news? How come corporate wage theft is not news? Like, how come the union busting that Starbucks and Amazon are engaging in, why is that not news? Why is niggas stealing food and toothpaste news on MSNBC?
To be condemned by millionaires, right? To be condemned by millionaire pundits who ain't going in Walgreens or wherever to get his toothpaste since he had that tracksuit on. You know what I mean? So ain't like this. It's not impacting him. For him to, and it's just hilarious. Like, this is the class analysis of, like, he's sitting there with his millionaire white friends talking about people stealing, to protect his pro-cop black mayor friend, who he wants to get the benefit of the doubt to. So this is what Al Sharpton is, and has always been since he gave up his tracksuit days. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it was like, look, there was a time where Al Sharpton actually did some radical stuff with some organizations in New York on the December 12th movement. They went on the subways, they stopped the trains from operating. They did all of that stuff, and they put some fear in the city, like took over the Brooklyn Bridge. He was part of that. And then at some point he decided, like, you know what? There's no money in this game. I'm gonna clean my shit up. Right? I think he got publicists. He gave up the track suits for the 3-piece.
Cut the perm out.
He cut the perm down. He didn't cut it out. He cut it down.
Well, that's true. He just
got a better version.
He trimmed it.
Before he was using a straightening comb.
He got a professional one done.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what that. Before he was just using a straightening comb, like everybody, back in the day, that kind of thing. He's like burning his tips back here, but he gave that up. He got the professional thing done. And then since then, he's been on that trip that, again, we all talk about, where he is representing families, getting a cut of their money, getting on them news shows, getting some contracts and all the rest of it. And this is Al Sharpton. And of course, never forget, Al Sharpton was the dude who was trying to give up Assata Shakur in Cuba as an FBI informant. So let's always keep that in mind. That's who Al Sharpton is. Asking questions on behest of the FBI to find out where Assata Shakur is, so that hoping to help get her brought back to the United States in prison time. In essence, that's who Al Sharpton is.
And the fact that, aside from him being literally being a fucking agent, the fact that this black man is sitting on this news program surrounded by all these white people laughing and making jokes about poverty, black folks, working class, poor folks suffering from poverty and having to steal to eat and take care of themselves, and not one of those rich, filthy, disgusting bastards, not least of all the black ass agent, brought that up. It is repulsive on a level that really just, if people had any illusions about who Al Sharpton was before that clip, which I understand he posted that clip himself.
Yes,
that clip originated from his Twitter account. So he was all really proud about this. Wherever he lives, wherever he is, he should not be able to walk down the street among our people in peace ever again in life. I just really feel like that. I'm not suggesting folks do anything. I'm just saying that I don't why do we let people like this have any peace in their life? We see him in a restaurant. We come up, oh, Mr. Sharpton, nah, smush that nigga's face in his food, in his plate.
Jackie,
what?
Some people do that. Don't smush that man in his face. I mean, you can say something to him, but don't smush him, no.
I mean, he's basically sitting on MSNBC advocating for his cop-ass mayor to sick the cops on working class and poor people who are having to steal to eat. And I don't even like calling it stealing. They're having to appropriate food from corporations that stole from them.
In the first place. That's right.
In the first place.
They overpriced meat prices. Yeah,
Oh,
steal that meat.
I ain't know I
Steal
was
that
gonna
meat.
get mad
You
this
know what I'm
morning. Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't imagine sitting on such a lofted platform, being so well compensated and really finger wagging at people who are stealing food. What the fuck you think they're gonna do with the food, man? I mean, what you think they're gonna do with the food besides eat the food? Make it make sense. But this,
And even if they sell it, and even if they sell it at a cheaper price than you'd get it in the store. They still
Precisely.
doing you a favor.
And you know who buy it?
us, right? You got them Trader Joe steaks, 2.5. Give me about 4 of them jumps. Give me about 4 of them.
I got some Tide, sis. Oh, for real?
Girl, listen, you think I don't be copping from the man who walk around the plaza who got detergent? He got detergent.
I got that body wash, sis. Got that
Girl,
dog body wash. Do you?
I got you, bro. You take cash out here. Let's do this. I wanted to say this real quick because that is a very like specific and very egregious example of the Black misleadership class, specifically out of Al Sharpton and the ways that he will, poor shame us, I suppose. I'm not sure what he's doing, but the larger issue of the way that the media is covering these stories in particular, right? Like these rise in crime stories, but especially when it comes to around retail thefts is bothersome to me because it always ends up with the media outlet discussing what the latest theft was, and then it becomes a police problem. Oh, let's go talk to the chief of police. What do you intend to do about this? Well, we got to get more officers on the street. We got to get more police funding. And by the way, I didn't drop this in the chat. Congresswoman Val Demings yesterday, she was in contention, or at least in discussions, to be potentially Biden's VP before he chose another cop, Kamala Harris. But Val Demings used to be the police, and now she's a congressperson from Florida. And she had the audacity to tweet with both her black ass hands that the police need more funding, that the police lack sufficient resources. That is a direct quote from a black congressperson, and she said that with a straight face. And Democrats are beating this refund the police shit drum as hard as Republicans, and we ought to be very, very scared because, as we see with Amir Locke in the tragic murder that happened in Minneapolis, dog, when you ramp up police funding, you ramp up the police to come and be lawless and harmful to our community at increased levels, and they're already sky high. Like, exactly. Please get the police out of our communities because they are literally killing us. But people like Sharpton, people like Val Demings, they sit on Joe Biden's little committees and they nod their heads. Yes, we need more police funding, and it's dangerous.
And never mind that the police nowhere in this country ever in the history of the police have ever actually been defunded. They took some lunch money from some of these police budgets. They took the vending machine money from some of these police budgets and claimed that they were defunding some shit. And that's not what happened. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So remember when we told y'all a few months back that Dave Chappelle won't shit? Well, yes. And I know that some people were like, no, he's not so bad. Well,
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dave Chappelle. I just want to say, and Marianne, I can talk to you about this privately. I don't know why the village council would be afraid of litigation from a $24 million a year company while they kicks out the $65 million a year company. I cannot believe you would make an audition for you. You look like clowns. I am not bluffing. I will take it all off the table. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Now, do you want to know what Dave Chappelle was talking about? He wasn't bluffing and he's going to take it all off the table about.
Please, I need all the context because I saw it floating around yesterday and I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. But yes, illuminate us, Jacqueline.
He said that he would take his investment in the development of Yellow Springs, where he lives, off the table, all of his money, if Yellow Springs voted on an affordable housing plan. There was a development that was being proposed, and the housing development is still going to be built, but the development had a component in it. They were setting aside some of the units for affordable housing. Chappelle and several of his white ass neighbors who he live around, his white ass bougie neighbors who he has made friends with, opposed the affordable housing measure of the housing development because they were concerned about things like sidewalks and traffic, and they really just don't want poor folks. living in their neighborhood, where Chappelle is funding opening a comedy club and a restaurant, and throwing some money at some more development in this podunk town of Yellow Springs. So
now, Jackie, what from
yes,
because I thought my understanding was his opposition was in part because the affordable housing wasn't actually affordable. Was that the reason given, or
no,
what?
no,
Okay.
no,
It was that it was too affordable. It was too affordable.
It was too affordable, because if that were the argument, then he wouldn't have pulled his funding from it. His argument would have been, unless you fix how unaffordable, make it really affordable, then I will pull my funding for. No, he was like, if you keep this affordable housing component in this housing development, I will pull my funding from all of this. Listen, I take no joy in calling out class traitors among us. I really do not. But it is important that we do it. It is important that we do it, because this is not just like, oh, you can't say bad things about Dave Chappelle because, he's been attacked by this, that, and the third. Here he is using his money and his power, what little bit of power he has in Yellow fucking Springs. I don't even know where that is, but okay.
Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio.
But he has enough power to determine where a bunch of other working class and poor-ish people get to live and get not to live in the community where he lives. And for me, that makes him a class enemy. He's a class traitor. So I don't
reason to do it. I'm sorry, he had no reason to do it. It's not. Dave Chappelle lives on a farm, probably 100 acres. And anything he's doing in that town is probably minuscule compared to the benefit that the town would receive or people would receive by having affordable places to live, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes no sense, except the fact that he is some rich man protecting his relatively speaking small investment, and he's showing he's calling those folks clowns, and maybe some of them are clowns. I have no idea, but he's calling them clowns. I mean, they're clowns because they went with them, so they are clowns in that way. But he's calling them. He's talking about you can have a private conversation. He's fully displaying his rich man ethos and ethics. Mm-hmm. Like, I've talked to you about this shit privately. You made me come all the way. You made me get out of my warm house and bed, come down here. How dare you? You know what I mean?
How dare you make me audition for you?
It's a city council meeting. You got it's like so. Yeah, I mean, it's just and again, folks have said it. Folks have warned about it. It's happened in different situations. But again, sometimes I'm hoping that people just need more facts on the table to show that this guy does not have the interest. He can talk all that shit he wants about Black history. He can talk about what's happening in his version to Black men. But over and over again, Dave Chappelle has shown himself, his politics, to not be about working class Black folks, to not be about inclusiveness around LGBTQ issues, to not care about what's happening in our larger community, except for the things that in his own mind impacts him or somebody like him. Mm-hmm. That he gets those politics, right? He gets the politics, the obviously the politics of Black men being killed. He gets that, obviously. But whatever his vision is, he can't open up his eyes more to see that there's other people in the world too who are impacted by oppression in the United States. And it's better to have an ally than to be an enemy, but he's chosen to be an enemy to everybody else.
Exactly. And this is why I'm not what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not forgiving of people who get a part of that narrative, of that, this part of our part of the oppression, and have and feel like they can advocate for our liberation by shitting on other oppressed folks. That is why I never, like how Chappelle came off about LGBTQIA folks, it rubbed me the wrong way because I knew that you cannot crap on one group of oppressed people and claim that you're going to get liberation because you're oppressed. You're not going to get your liberation off of oppressing other people. That's not how it's going to happen. So yes, Dave Chappelle, still shit.
Yeah, I mean, that clip was going around yesterday, along with the Sharpton clip, along with the Jim Jones clip. And I was like, oh man, black celebrity doing real bad today. Like, oh man.
And isn't it amazing that that's Al Sharpton that's all he is, right? He's a black celebrity. That's all he is. Right?
Yep.
Not really a spokesman, doesn't do anything, but he's just a celebrity. The only celebrities we like around here are DJ celebrities.
Hey.
Do we?
We like the DJ celebrities.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Come on, Jackie.
I'm sorry. Yes, we do. We do.
He's like, I don't like that nigga. Who are you talking about?
Word. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a little musical break and a little bit of gem of history while I'm doing that. So let's get into it.
Sweet.
Do it.
Next.
All right, let me get over here.
Good.
Ain't gonna be working, man. Here we go. Reagan was the president. I voted for Shirley Chisholm. That's right. Pick up the Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Anita Chisholm. She's a politician, educator, author. She became the first African-American woman elected to the United States Congress. And she became the first African-American candidate for majority party nomination for the President of the United States and the first woman to run for the Democratic Party nomination. Straight out of Brooklyn. Born from Guyanese and Barbadian parents. Pick up Shirley Chisholm. Y'all remember her? Dominique Dawes. Yo, Dominique Dawes was like 10 years old as a member of the gymnastics team. Wound up getting 3 medals. I mean, she got medals from every Olympics she was in, all 3 of them. The one in Atlanta in 1996, the one in Sydney, and the one in Athens. 10 years old to now. Straight out of Baltimore. That's right. That's your quick history lesson for the day. Nice little mix for you and yours. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and all that. Right here on Black Power Media. Let's get back to our host and talk that talk, all right? And yes, Kamal, you know what Dominique Dawes' husband looked like.
What?
I ain't even
I
bother
don't
to
know.
search.
Every time I pull up somebody, make sure Kamal lets us know that they are married to the opposite race.
So you already did the search for me. You
already
did
did it.
You already did the search.
You know what I realized? Like a lot of these people, like Tiger Woods, Dominique Dawes, in their sports, who are they around? When you wind up falling in love with people, it's probably the person that's around you. Who are they mostly around? White people.
Nah, and who they aspire to be around? Who do they aspire? What's
That was the
happening with the girl Shavina Williams these days?
I mean, we ain't hard to find now.
I love me some Serena. I missed the
know.
plane ride one time for Serena Williams. I missed the flight because she was playing in the championship and I couldn't take my eyes off. I was like, God damn. Have you seen her today?
Hey, she tried
from
coming.
Jackie's complexion to burn it down Kim Brown's complexion.
Did what?
Have you seen Serena Williams?
No.
Yeah, she done put a lot of a cake up on. But
and see,
I think she done had some surgery too on the face.
A little bit of nose job, I think.
Yeah, she got the nose job.
And I mean, I used to believe that, some of the black celebrities and whatnot are only around a bunch of white people. I used to believe that, but we ain't hard to find. I mean, you know what I mean? We're kind of everywhere. And I know that we're just 13-14% of the population, but still, I don't know.
I mean, how many black women you think Tiger Woods met at the country club?
Well, if he stayed at the country club, probably none.
First of all, Tiger Woods wasn't getting with no white women from the country club. He was getting with working class waitresses, white blonde waitresses.
So yes, his wife was the nanny. His wife was a nanny. Like she wasn't some socialite, that she was babysitting. And that's probably why he married her. But hold on. I do not think a non-black spouse or even a white spouse DQs you from being down with the team. Now, how do you know Dominique? But how do you know Dominique Dawes' husband ain't some radical white? How do you know he's not down with the John Brown Brigade? You're just making assumptions.
First of all, we can make some pretty clear assumptions. He ain't down with the John Brown Brigade. That's not getting too much of a benefit of a doubt here. That's
real quick. What's your thoughts on Shirley Chisholm?
Oh,
what happened to Shirley Chisholm?
Yeah, I did a little history on Shirley Chisholm. I don't know if y'all was around, but
that was nice.
No, what did you say? No, I didn't know what your question.
I was just wondering what's your thoughts on what she's done, Shirley Chisholm's job, or what she's.
I mean, she was an elected official, but I think for her time, Shirley Chisholm raised the bar. She kept it radical. She talked about us. She talked about feminism. Shirley Chisholm is a real hero in the community.
Yeah, I think too many black female politicians have not reached her bar. I think Shirley Chisholm set the bar, and almost every black politician, female politician who has come after her have not measured up to her. And male either. You're right, Kamal.
They've been doing the conga line. They've been going under the bar, not over the bar.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Sliding on their bellies under the.
Exactly. How low can you go? Like, where's the cash? I'll show you how.
Hey, before I get out, I just want to say, in the words of Bismarck, Reagan is depressed, but I voted for Shirley Chisholm.
Don't go. No, come back.
And by the way, Dominique Dawes,
my nice leaves. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know, it was hot.
Dominique Dawes is from Montgomery County, Maryland. Let me just say that.
That's right, Maryland.
Oh well, yeah, okay.
That's what she found her white husband. My bad.
DMV All-Star. Shut up, Kamal.
So people rip. I like to stay out the chat, but but when it's funny, they ripping about this. Got some Doris Day thing in the background,
Doris Day.
Doris Day. I got different albums, different.
What song do you know by Doris Day?
Really?
You found that someplace.
No, man. If you like jazz, Doris Day back in the day. Look,
I came up off jazz and gospel music. My dad played jazz. My mom played gospel.
That's just as bad as my daughter saying Eminem is the best rapper.
No.
Vanilla Ice.
Doris
That
Day
mama
and
said Vanilla
jazz.
Ice.
Doris Day and jazz. Those two
Lord
words don't go
Jesus.
together.
Y'all
Hold
just
on.
don't know y'all music like that. Y'all mad disrespectful. Y'all need to cut it out.
Say something. Give me one song Doris Day did that you like. Just
Woo.
one. Give me one.
I mean, how many jazz songs can you
Yeah,
name?
exactly.
I mean,
Thank
come
you.
on.
Exactly.
I can name a bunch of Ella Fitzgerald songs.
Thank
Let's not get it twisted.
All right.
Take that shit down. Take that shit down.
I mean, and
Get that off the wall. Get that off the
here's
wall.
the thing about jazz. You'll have here's the thing about jazz. You'll have 5 people sing one song and they all be okay. But you know, there are jazz singers who are the epitome of jazz, and Ella Fitzgerald is absolutely up there. Dinah Washington. You know, I do like
Sarah Vaughan.
Doris Day, Billie Holiday, yeah. Sarah
What you gotta say
Vaughan.
about Billie Holiday?
No, it's not that I dislike Billie Holiday. I don't see her in the same category as Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah
You're
Vaughan.
bugging. You're bugging.
No, I see her
Agreed.
kind of like blues a little bit. Yeah.
Well, she is, of course, she's blues and jazz.
Yes,
both.
I think that's true. I think see now you know how it feels when you do that to see. Can you dish it out, but you can't take it? Can you come out?
No, I cannot. I cannot.
He's real about it.
But I mean, you know, music is kind of subjective in some ways. But you know, listen. Abdus loved Frank Sinatra. That dude, he was listening to Frank Sinatra when he was a kid, and to this day, I like Frank too. I mean, is he the best jazz singer in the? I don't think so, but I like Frank Sinatra. That's the song.
Touch your hair and walk with me.
Yep. See?
The only reason I know that song is from the Pope of Greenwich Village. I remember that gangster movie back in the day, The Pope.
No.
I was a good movie.
I do
Mickey Rourke. Yeah, I'll go into it later.
But real
I
quick,
like a little Frankie. A little Frankie ain't bad.
Jackie, the funny thing about Sinatra.
Oh
shit.
Oh no.
That's not Frank, is it?
Hey, yo, does music have a color? Like, I mean, I get,
sometimes,
but
yes.
as in,
I think so.
Yes, sometimes it does. Yeah.
Very much.
Absolutely.
I mean, if we created the whole culture, does it have a color?
That's exactly why it has a color.
Yes.
Doing
Yes,
our
that's-
culture.
Yes, that's precisely what. Because
And that's
look,
why people like Elvis Presley or Eminem or whoever it is should not be, or all these little artists today rated in R&B music should not be allowed to gain so much wealth and popularity off of Black music, because basically the Black folks who did the music didn't get paid as much, don't get as much fame, don't get as much stardom, don't get as much credit, all the rest of it. And these white folks come and they get to declare themselves king, queen, and everything. Like, what's her name? Ade, what's her name?
Adele,
whatever the fuck that name is. You know, walking around with the vocals. Everybody's like, oh, Adele. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You're just doing Black music. Because you're a white girl, it's like it's all good and proper or whatever. You're making literally hundreds of millions of dollars off of doing Black music. Literally.
Is it the artist that's not in love with the music, or is it the record companies and all that other stuff that's being like, all right, let's do it like that? I mean,
no.
So we gonna kick out Doobie Brothers. We gonna kick out Skaggs. We gonna kick out.
I think there are white artists. There are white artists who respect the history and the culture of the music they sing. Why did you do that, dear doctor?
To reason away.
I love a little yacht rock. I'm not mad at all the white folks. I'm just mad at the ones who I think it's obvious have taken Black music and get a level of popularity, fame, and credit that is just so undeserving.
And they don't give credit to the originators of the music. But I mean, if you really want to know if music is Black or white, take your ass to church. Take your ass to a white church and take your ass to a Black church. And listen to them white people sing "Oh Happy Day." And then go to the Black church and listen to the children's choir sing "Oh Happy Day."
Come on. all I can hear white people singing in church with the acoustic guitars is "Our God is an awesome God," and I'm like, oh,
unless let me be real, unless you go to a Pentecostal church, a Pentecostal white church in the South, then in that case, all bets are off. I mean,
anything can come out of there. Anything.
All right, we're gonna have this music discussion a little later.
We just had it. It was just had. We settled it, dear doctor. Music has color. That's it. Hey.
Michael McDonald can come to the barbecue. Michael McDonald.
Can I tell y'all, that is one of the greatest curve songs of all time. Like that, and if you listen to the lyrics of "What a Fool Believes," it's a very devastating kind of song because it is a tale of unrequited love, and one of the parties has no clue that the other one doesn't love them at all.
Yeah.
That's like me and Jackie. I guess I'm.
She said, "I'm not going out with Elder Bar's little brother."
No. Come on now, Kamal. You're embarrassing yourself now.
My bad. I do it often, so don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Hey guys, real quick before we move along, shout out to Quint Wolf. Quint Wolf just ran us 5 quid, and Quint says, "Should they not give back to the poor, show real respect instead of holding those millions of dollars?"
Yes, they should. Yes, they should. But it's. I mean, they make their money off of demonizing the poor, so, and
but here's the thing that drives me crazy. Okay. Like Starbucks workers are unionizing at a record pace, or at least they're organizing their stores to prepare for the unionization and the union busting that is happening from Starbucks and from Amazon and lots of other companies, by the way. I've heard things about REI, which I'm like, really? Okay. But anyway, I know why these are not stories. I understand why MSNBC does not cover these stories because they are corporate media. So they are there to protect other corporations and protect the capital. But it just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy because it's like, listen, the shoplifting ring who stole from the Nordstroms out there in the Bay Area, listen, they could rob that Nordstrom's every single day for 40 years straight and would not even come to a drop in the bucket from the amount of wages and health and all kinds of shit that corporate America has stolen from us. So it's so mind-blowing to me. Again, I get it, but I still don't get it, but I get it. Why they make such a big deal of these stories. And again, fuck these stories and the people that push these kinds of stories. You too, Al Sharpton, because all that's going to do is increase the police in our community. So fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit.
Even though I don't want you to take back your money, man, but even though, yes, it's okay for rich folks to give back some money, but that's not the heart of the issue. The heart of the issue is that the government has to work on behalf of people, or people have to control the structures that make sure that these folks are taxed, that they're not stopping people from organizing, that they're not stopping affordable housing projects, that their interest doesn't come before the interest of the general society. And we shouldn't have a society where we have to depend on rich people to give back wealth through some private means in order for people to be able to eat, sleep, and do everything else that they need to do.
Right.
We have to have a society where they're paying their rightful amounts, so that a larger democratic structure can make those decisions on behalf of everybody, as opposed to what's in the interest of these rich people. So it doesn't matter whether or not it's okay. It's cool. It's good that they give money back, of course. But the issue is that the idea that somehow society needs to run and operate off of the private givings of rich people is part of the problem that we have already, right? So,
yeah, I mean, you're right. I agree. And the thing is that rich people in particular don't like about socialism is that they think that's what it is, that, socialism, you're just going to take all my stuff and give it all to the poor people. You're just going to steal from me. No, the idea behind socialism is that nobody is poor, is that everybody has everything that they need. Everybody's material needs, their human rights are met. It's not that people can't profit off of a business. If they have a business, it's not that people can't own a business and people can't profit off of that, but people can't profit off of exploitation of other people, so that people are forced to live with less and to have their human rights and their basic needs go unmet, while a very few people get filthy, stinking rich off of the labor off of other people, and the people who work to make that one person or those few people all that money don't get the fair return on their labor. That's what socialism is. It's not stealing from the rich, but if we don't get socialism, guess what's going to happen? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's precisely.
I will offer a little caveat because some of y'all will have your money taken. Let me just be clear. Like the means of production will be taken from private hands.
Yes.
Put it,
yes.
You know, so that means you're gonna come down a little bit on your billions.
Yes,
Maybe
but you still gonna have a billion. But
maybe
probably a few people
maybe
would not like it. But I think we're at the point, at least in this country, where it's gonna be one or two of those folks. I don't know. I think we could solve that in undisclosed ways.
We'll debate. But I wouldn't count on too many billionaires being left. But
okay, I like that. I like it.
Hey,
see, Jackie.
We getting some bucks from us today, y'all.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Who gave?
Sounds
a very
Saint
socialist
Elsewhere
today.
Yeah, Sounds of Saint Elsewhere, loyal BPM viewer, ran us some bucks and says, shout out to More Perfect Union, absolutely, for the detailed on-the-ground coverage of labor struggles that have been unfolding throughout the U.S. Check them out on YouTube. More Perfect Union does outstanding reporting on labor stuff.
Yes, they do.
And is this Memphis where the 7 Starbucks workers were fired, Jackie? I'm not really prepared to talk about this story, but I think it was Memphis.
It is Memphis. Here you go.
Okay. Yes.
Yep. 7 Starbucks. Okay, first of all, I never understood Starbucks coffee. I never understood why people like that shit. It's burnt coffee beans. I do not understand why people like it's just disgusting. Then they finally came out with the blonde roast, and it's like y'all had to get a whole new roast to not make your coffee taste like you burned the beans in an incinerator. Okay, so but anyway, Starbucks fires 7 employees involved in union effort after a TV interview at their Memphis store. So apparently, the Starbucks spokesman said that the firings had nothing to do with their efforts to unionize. The company cited significant violations of safety and security policies, including remaining in the store after closing time with non-employees for an interview with local media. Okay, there's really no need to read any further because you and I know that is corporate bullshit at its finest or at its worst, because that's so transparent.
But that was the lead reason though, Jackie. Like that's the first reason. Like reason number one, it wasn't because of truancy or you come to work late. No, you stayed in the store 15 extra minutes.
You fired 7 employees for safety violations because they stayed in the store for an interview with some get the heck out of here, man.
It's all about, it's all about punishing work who have the nerve to talk about their conditions at work. How dare they? They should just be grateful you're giving them any penny that they get from you. That's the mentality of these folks. It's like, how dare you organize for better wages and more wages? How dare you think that the wealth shouldn't come all the way up to us, the top level management and the owners and the stockholders, that you should share whatever resources that come into this company because you work the 8, the 9, the 10, the 12-hour shifts that allows us to make this money. How dare you? And you're right, the coffee is trash. That's another
trash. Pastries, trash, everything. Garbage.
I was always a Dunkin' Donuts man.
I mean, well, Dunkin' Donuts coffee is a little on the weak side for me, but them donuts be banging. And those breakfast croissants, don't look, man. The breakfast croissants, yes. McDonald's coffee though, and 7-Eleven coffee. There's no need.
I don't like to get burned by my coffee. That's the problem with McDonald's.
Hey, guess what? We got some more bucks. We got some more bucks run our way, guys. Jacqueline Dupont is on the show this morning. Everybody's turning out their pockets, and I'm happy to see it. Shout out to
my commentary.
Do I have to dance? I mean, is this what they do?
We'll take a dance. We'll take a dance. We'll take a dance, Jackie. We'll take a dance. Come on. Shout out to Franny French, Franny France. Love you, baby. Franny says, and I say Franny because I'm silly. Franny. Is it Franny or Franny? Franny France says that this is for the Al Not Sharpton's GoFundMe to get better makeup.
I think he borrowed Serena's makeup. I think that's what happened.
Oh my God.
That they look alike almost right there. If y'all haven't seen that picture, they look
That's
alike.
really horrible. Oh my God. Thank you, Franny.
Hold on, is Serena bleaching for real? Y'all just saying
Let
that?
me look. Let me go look because
It's so sad. You look, and I'll talk about Serena.
Let me go look.
You know, it's one. Again, I used to love Serena. You know what I mean? So it's
Why
like,
you say used to though? Why used to?
Well, one, she married that white man. Two,
hate.
Hate. She married the billionaire. And she's just definitely, again, she's quintessential Black celebrity, right? It's all about the wealth. It's all about the different companies. It's all about the status. And anything she says about women's issues or race, it's all feels self-serving. Doesn't feel like it has anything to do with the larger issues or community. It's all about when she individually feels that some bias has happened to her. It's like the Black person who's talking about, I can't get a cab to go such and such and such. Other than that, she wants the Black folks to shut the fuck up because she's making lots of money and living her life and living her dream.
I don't know, guys.
You found a pic? You found a pic? Show that pic.
She bleaching. Tell me,
Man, I'm not. I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge.
Maybe that's lighting. Maybe that's
is that lighting?
You even found the one that's not even. I might have to go look for the real one.
I think you're gonna have to look for, because I'm like, okay, maybe that's lighting, but
that looked like her original nose though. That didn't look like the new nose.
That's not a good. This is not a good picture of her. Right?
There's some other ones. No. Don't let nobody fool you. She's definitely doing something with that skin.
Well, this is a picture of her competing.
Well, no, that's back in the day, Serena.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is just to compare. This is a picture of her competing, and that was.
Nah. You gotta find somebody's got to find a good one.
Oh,
when we come back from the
I
break.
don't know.
We come
Maybe
back.
go look at her IG page. Can I ask you guys a question? Do we even have time for this? I mean, this is a random kind of personal question.
Always for you.
Always have time for randomness. Come on.
Can I ask y'all? What are the ways in which colorism has affected you, or what are some instances in which you knew colorism was absolutely at play?
How about all my life? I mean,
I would say on the opposite end, I think it's how I've been treated, even in my family, right? I was the youngest. I was the boy. I was by clearly like the lightest one. So even in my family, I was treated better, to be honest, right, than my sister, who was a darker skinned woman. So I think that's part of our, maybe my sister talked about, that's part of our family dynamics. I think even being out in the world, opportunities to speak or to do things come your way because of being lighter skinned. Even the fact that people think that I may know more than what I do comes within a package of what's being presented. And even amongst, our folks or whatever like that, I think a lot of times, like in high school, there were far more jokes about folks being dark skinned than about me being light skinned, right? Mm-hmm. So we gather, we did the dozens, ranked on each other, everything like that. The cat who was like dark skinned got far more energy in terms of ranking and all that kind of stuff because of that, as opposed to somebody like me, who obviously in terms of just stood out because he was like one of the lighter ones or the lightest one in the crowd of people he was with, kind of thing. So in those ways, even in terms of growing up in the projects and all the rest of it, I still think there's obvious ways, which I probably have not, I've never used to its full potential or wealth building or whatever in terms of being that light-skinned dude, because I got politicized and,
But you don't deny that colorism has opened doors for you.
Sure, I'm sure it has. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and of course, on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, being from the South, that whole colorism thing on the other end of the spectrum was very, very evident in my family. My maternal grandmother, when I was born, unlike most babies, my mom always told me this story that I came out. I was born, and I was exactly the color I am now. And she said that that my maternal grandmother saw me in the little bassinet and said, "Oh, there's that little sapphire," which you can't say that to Black women in the South. You will get stabbed.
Sapphire? What? Tell me, what is that offensive?
Yes, that is a because it's based on, remember, who was it? Amos or Andy's wife?
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Sapphire.
okay,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and she was heavy set, dark skinned, just hateful, spiteful, very, very.
Not sapphire as in the precious jewel.
No.
Oh man.
So my maternal grandmother, my mama's mama, who has always been a very holy woman, heard her say this about me. And my mother told me that my maternal grandmother looked at my paternal grandmother and said, "Don't you ever fucking talk about my grandchild like that again. She is my grandchild. She is not Sapphire. That's my baby." So there's always been this colorism thing, I have an aunt who is lighter than other folks in the family, and there's like, maybe she's not granddaddy's baby, but of course she is. And then of course it's like, well, maybe she's part Indian. There ain't no Indian in our family. It's just that's just how the DNA rolls. And of course in high school, because I was dark, I wasn't considered, attractive, didn't get all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So speaking of, I ain't got one. Just ear doctor, bring your ass on, B. Just come on. Get your ass on. So before we go to your part, I just want to show that. That's what your girls are doing these days.
What?
Like The Mask. You remember that?
What
Yep.
happened?
Rocky Dennis.
That's bad makeup. I want to say that's really bad
You
makeup.
see that complexion?
Okay, I'm looking at her décolletage, and that's not makeup. Okay, that's.
And then does somebody have it? Oh, it's not there. Okay, yeah, but that's what Serena's looking like these days.
But why, Serena? You have everything. You got everything being your beautiful, dark-skinned self. Like, I'm so confused.
Well, see, this is why these kinds of topics, it's not. These things are important because we still suffer from this. Like, I mean, Kim, you just said she has everything. But for some reason, she didn't feel like. For some reason, she felt like she had to do that. And
somebody said, "What the Sammy Sosa is happening?"
Oh no!
Damn, Carmen, what you do to Serena?
And can I just say? Let me just say, look, this is our show, and I love you, Minister Server, but it kind of drives me a little bit nuts when we put our heart and soul into this show, and people are like, "Y'all talking about this topic for too long." Do your own show. Do your own show.
That's a great
come
point,
on, y'all.
It's coming soon. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a break.
Do that. You're a doctor.
Yo, since we doing history real quick, yo, y'all remember this sister right here? let's go to a sister that goes by the name of India Davenport. That's right. Part of the group Brand New Heavies. That's right. Brand New Heavies was a group. And she's straight out of ATL too, y'all. Straight out of got into a group called Brand New Heavies, UK. And that's what it is, man. We giving you a little mix of the mix and history. So check out Indiva Davenport, Brand New Heavies, dope acid jazz group. So check them out. Now let's go back to the morning show. Now we do.
Now, Ear Doctor, you know what the Brand New Heavies big hit was. Never stop, never give it up. There in a minute in the day that's without
and brother,
you.
sister, brother, sister. Oh man, they had some bangers. They had some bangers.
I didn't know she was American. I just assumed she was British.
Right? And from Atlanta.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I definitely thought she was British.
Hey,
Stop laughing at me. Come on.
Going doing your research and finding out your goddamn stuff.
Thanks. Okay.
No problem. I'm just here to
Thank you, Ear Doctor. Did I see that we hit 200?
We did.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
200.
Let me get out of here and get my mix ready then.
Get your
Get
mix
your mix ready. Don't put Doris Day in that mix. Don't put Doris Day in
that we hit 200 and we only have 82 likes? What you all down there talking about, Cabal?
No, I'm telling the Ear Doctor, don't put no Doris Day in his mix. That's all. When you come back with that mix, no Doris Day.
No, okay, no Doris.
You can leave that alone.
All right.
Doris Day. Okay.
Welcome back to the remix. Yes, we have all the feelings.
We got some more stories though. We got some more news. Any more news?
Let's see. Do you have anything? Because let's see. Oh, okay. I kind of didn't want to deal with this yesterday. As we were talking about it on folks were talking about it on in the chat on By Any Means Necessary on Radio Sputnik, 2:00 to 4:00 p.m. Eastern Time every weekday. You can watch us live on YouTube from 3 to 4, but don't forget there's a whole hour before from 2 to 3 that you can listen to on Radio Sputnik SputnikNews.com. Me and Sean Blackman, Sean the Voice Blackman, who know Kamal, you will not replace. So yeah, this story kind of threw me for a loop yesterday. And I it was just I kind of didn't know what to do with it, but after having thought about it a little bit, this program that the Biden administration, excuse me, is getting behind to hand out free crack pipes to people who are struggling with crack addiction is being made a big deal out of on the likes of the conservative news outlets, right? And on the surface, it seems like, Jesus Christ, why the fuck would you do this? Well, let me just say this. The grant that is behind this program is funded by Biden's executive order 13985, called Advancing Racial Equity and Support for Underserved Communities Through the Federal Government. It's said to support community-based overdose prevention programs, syringe services programs, and other harm reduction services. According to the grant document, funding of up to $9,750,000 per year, or $29,250,000 over 3 years, was available to dozens of communities. And they said funding will be used to enhance overdose and other types of prevention activities to help control the spread of infectious diseases and the consequences of such diseases for individuals with or at risk of developing substance use disorders, support distribution of FDA-approved overdose reversal medication to individuals at risk of overdose, build connections for individuals at risk for or with a SUD, substance use disorder, to overdose education, counseling, and health education, refer individuals to treatment for infectious diseases such as HIV, sexually transmitted infections, and viral hepatitis, and encourage such individuals to take steps to reduce the negative personal and public health impacts of substance use or misuse. That's what the grant is supposed to provide. But the media, especially the conservative media, has only focused on the Biden administration is giving out free crack pipes. And I have my thoughts on this, but I'm going to hold off because I want to hear you all's thoughts on this first.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are people still smoking crack? Because I'm unaware of this. I thought crack was over. I thought crack was done. And I thought crack got subbed in for meth. I thought meth subbed in for crack. People are still really smoking crack?
Yes. And this is why I had such a difficult time with this, because as some of you know, after Abdus passed away, I did 2 very long shows, probably 2 hours, talking about how we disparage people who struggle with substance abuse and substance use disorder, as well as mental illness in our communities, because my husband struggled with both of those things. So he struggled with bipolar disorder that was undiagnosed for most of his life, as do 40% of substance abuse sufferers experience. 40% of the people who suffer with substance abuse are documented as also suffering from some type of mental disorder, whether it be schizophrenia, severe depression, or bipolar disorder. But my husband also suffered from substance abuse disorder. And the issue with these 2 issues is that the medical community doesn't know which to treat first. They do know that the mental disorders fuel the substance abuse disorders, and that in turn the substance disorders make the mental disorders worse. But they don't understand, a chicken or an egg kind of thing, which happened first, because at the point where people become severely addicted, they're just trying to figure out what to treat. So I talked about all of that in those 2 shows, and I talked about the fact that we in our communities demonize our people who have been subjected to the scourge of crack, which is a political epidemic that was imposed upon our people. But we see it as, a very moral failing. And, long story short, before I get way too emotional, yes, where I live, if you go up the street, right up the street from our house, you will see people nodding out. You will see, you can see little baggies where, people bought crack on the street. Our people still suffer from this. It still happens. And the problem The worst problem is now that people normally didn't die from like crack overdoses. It's kind of hard to die from a crack overdose. You literally have to be smoking crack like for 10 days in a row, and then your heart just literally just like, okay, fuck it, I give up. But the problem now is that everything on the street is being cut with fentanyl, and it is the fentanyl that is killing people. So this is a silent epidemic among an older generation of Black people in our communities. And it is both I don't want to call it it's an education issue, because people don't understand how crack works. And I talked about the science behind why crack addiction is the way it is, that it seems to be so much more difficult than other types of like powdered cocaine addiction and even heroin addiction. I talked about that in the 2 shows. It's an education problem among us, among all people. It's a political problem, and it always has been. It's a racial problem, always has been. But it's also in this case of this particular program, I have no problem with providing safe ways for people who are struggling with substance abuse to use so that they don't contract disease, right? That's fine. But if you're not actually going to provide substance abuse treatment and mental health treatment that is not just affordable, but are free, then you're not actually solving a problem. If you're not providing housing to people, if you're not providing health care to people, if people can't eat, then you're not solving the problem. So this, I think, is a really good example of where this idea of harm reduction not only falls flat, but ends up continuing to kill people. Because, like I said in the 2 shows I did, that this whole response, this whole thing around drug abuse and substance abuse and rehab is a capitalist racket in this country, just like everything else. And families like mine, where people, our loved ones, wanted to get help, went to these private rehab centers. That might have been good, but they also incurred enormous bills because these rehabs are capitalists. They're for profit. So every 30 days in rehab, $10,000.
Yeah.
If you don't have insurance, $10,000 easy. If you do have insurance, $5,000. That was our reality. So, I mean, Ab just told me stories of people who their insurance ran out and they knew they needed to stay in rehab for longer than 30 days or 60 days, but they were kicked out because they didn't have any more money to cover any more time. And what happened? They went back out into the street. They knew they were not prepared to take care of themselves in the same environment they were in. And they not only ended up relapsing, but some people ended up overdosing and dying. Mm-hmm. So this issue of harm reduction in the case of substance abuse and providing safe ways for people to use, that's all fine and good. But if you're not going to change people's material conditions that make them feel like they have to medicate the things that they suffer with, and if you're not going to provide them health care so that they can deal with the mental issues that they don't have health insurance. Poor Black truck drivers don't have health insurance to go and get diagnosed with bipolar disorder and get the long-term treatment that they need. So, my sweetheart lived most of his adult life trying to deal with a bipolar disorder that he didn't know he had. that he didn't understand how it affected him, that he didn't know why he couldn't control some things until he married me. And we started to kind of figure those things out. And then he died because we just didn't have the time. We didn't have the chance to figure those things out together. So this issue is incredibly important, not just because, you know, it's my personal pain or whatever, but because every day in my community, I see folks who are my age and older who, yes, are still smoking crack, who could never get free from the crack epidemic back in the 80s and 90s, who also have mental health issues. Their families have given up on them, the community's given up on them, and they suffer and they die in silence. And the best that the politician can do is to give people free needles or free crack pipes, but they don't provide people housing. They don't provide people health care to deal with their mental issues. They don't provide people a decent way to live. And people medicate that pain the only way their damaged brains are telling them to do. And that's to use drugs to take away that pain. And so that this is, yeah, I need to stop.
I appreciate you laying that out, Jackie. And some things that you said helped me to put things in context, into perspective. I think I intentionally forget that one of my family members died of a drug overdose, and this was maybe about 10 years ago, and they were in their early 40s when it happened, and the family was very much in denial about the addiction and about the overdose death. And these overdoses are absolutely still touching our community. But like you said, particularly amongst our Gen X Black folks. Growing up in Laurel, Maryland, I lived right next door to the crack house. The crack house wasn't in my neighborhood, it was right next door. And I saw how men in my neighborhood, Black men in my neighborhood, one by one, all got sucked in to crack addiction. And it was really heartbreaking and very difficult to even process and understand. But at that time, like you said, we as a community, I don't know if we conditioned ourselves or we were conditioned, but to look at them scornfully, you know what I mean? Like what's wrong with y'all? Crackheads, this, that, and the third. And it's like, as you get older and you understand the conditions in which people are dealing with and suffering, not just under capitalism, but in addition to our mental health, especially, you kind of get how people can become addicted to drugs, right? And to a certain extent, we all are addicted to something. I mean, I might have a marijuana problem, but I was always afraid of crack, kind of for the reasons that you said, Jackie, because I knew if I got on a hard drug, my mama didn't have rehab money. And one of my childhood friends growing up actually did become a crack addict, except they came from means. So their family had the $30,000 to send them to Florida for rehab. And anyway, but my thing was, I knew I was too poor for drug addiction because I knew wasn't nobody going to be able to afford to send me to rehab. But I so appreciate you sharing the story and obviously the way in which this has impacted you personally and directly. And I love you, Jackie. I love you, and I miss Abdus for you.
Same here. Yeah. I mean, and I'm going back to my days. It just was like fabric of community. Like you know, you'd walk by folks, right? Men and women. You just walk by folks because you were doing whatever you were doing if you weren't addicted. But folks, you know, all the bad things you see in movies, like, you know, you got it's based a lot of times on real life stuff. But walking up to you, asking you, telling you they'll do things to you, for you, whatever, for money. People walking up trying to get things from you. Like, you see people just doing their thing in the corner kind of thing. But like in that weird way, we were just conditioned. Like it was just something else to either deal with or see. If it wasn't you directly, even if you knew the person and knew of them or you saw them every day. Sometimes they were in a better space, sometimes they were not. But that was just part. That was like the life. And then the cat right down the block who was selling it, right? Who walking like, that's somebody you give a yo, what's up to, but you keeping it going at that stage too. At that stage, you're just like, it's the fabric of the community, right? It's, and again, even as a teenager, and later in my 20s, but particularly as a teenager, you weren't putting 2 to 2 together. You may have known of some stuff, but you were really putting 2 to 2 together, right? And I think how things like the media get you, and then bringing this back to Dave Chappelle. I remember one of the things that this, like on the Chappelle show, that I just kind of like, I was like, oh, I can't watch that, was when he did the crack addict thing. It was just like, oh, that might be a bit too. It's just like, it's like the decentral, like sanitizing or whatever, the effect of it. Just like, whoa, that's a bit too scary there or whatever like that. But at that time, it was that's kind of like how it was treated. And I think later on, the politics individually for me developed around the stuff that y'all talked about, where you got to see that this was not just some happenstance thing that just took place in our communities, that not only was it purposeful, but not only did people make money from it outside the community, right? But people the whole jail and prison system, right? Because that, again, the way our addictions were treated compared to, again, this latest wave of how folks who got addicted to meth and all that kind of stuff were treated, right? You could see plain sight the differences of how addiction can be treated, the resources that can be given, or the ways in which the treatment can be delivered at times. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but just people seriously giving thought to it and putting resources into it, as opposed to just lock them up. Right. That's the solution to it. Just lock them up.
Right. And just the fact that people who, and I remember this time when I was in high school where, nobody expected to get addicted to crack. Nobody, when people are out partying, doing what they do, you're a kid or you're a young adult and you're just out partying, and haven't most of us been there, done that? You've gone to a party, had a little drink, had a little smoke, did this, that, and the third. So nobody knew what this drug would do. And people became addicted, not even realizing that that's where it would go, and there is a unique science behind why crack it's not more addictive than other drugs, but there is a unique science behind it as to why it is more powerful than powdered cocaine and powdered heroin. And I talked about that in the show too. But see, this is science that is as old as 1985, 1987. How come we didn't know that? Did you understand? The medical community knew. How come we didn't know that? So, then there's the whole psychological thing, like what you said, Kamal, and the social thing about, shaming our folks. And then this is why, Abdus was working up to talking more about his struggles. But I'll be, honest, and we talked about it often, that he was very afraid of being judged because he had been judged all his life. And it was very difficult for him, but he wanted very badly to help other people, especially other Black men. He wanted very badly to help other Black men to be able to heal a little bit, as tearing up my mouse, as he was in the process of trying to heal. So I mean, everything is political. Everything is political. Life, death, and everything in between is political in this country. So if I seem a little impatient some days, y'all, it's because I'm still in this.
You gotta explain it to them.
I'm sensitive about my shit. Yeah. But I'm extra sensitive these days.
That's fine.
I don't know why you still got a mouse though. I mean, that's another question.
Because I'm also middle-aged and stuck in my ways.
So speaking of middle-aged and stuck in their ways, damn, we want to hear Doctor.
Oh my God, y'all.
I thought I was the youngest in charge till I found out Kim is a little younger than me.
Yeah. I'm the baby of this crew. Go figure.
46 in the building. Let's get it. Hey, you know what? what's crazy about that too is I have a brother that's in jail for selling crack and homicide. So crack affected a lot of us. So with that said, I'm gonna give you all a good vibration to go into the weekend. So let's get it. Black Power Media. In case y'all ain't know.
Yes.
Let's get it.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
I said if we never get a chance to be together, don't just run and over. I said it's a pity you weren't ready otherwise. I'm me down, yeah. I we did, giving thanks and praise now. I we did, giving thanks and praise. The thing that we do, Jaja is watching you. Anything you say, Jaja is hearing you. Anywhere you go, Jaja is hearing you.
Once again, welcome out to Black Power Media, y'all. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. We gonna rock a little bit till we get to the weekend. Let's rock out on this reggae. It'll be a massive.
It is a revolution to make a solution. Too much confusion. So much frustration.
Hear them say, dreadlocks get living then I'm dreadlocks get living a tenement, yeah. Dreadlocks get living a tenement, yeah. Too much what you, too much what you, Dreadlocks get living a tenement, yeah. Dreadlocks get living a tenement, yeah. Too much what you, too much what you, Dreadlocks get living privacy. Anything him do, all nigga see. Too much watch you, too much watch you, too much Dread too much informers and too much.
A little bit of Peter Tosh.
I'm not in this world to live up to your expectations. Neither are you here to live up to mine. Yeah. I don't owe no one no obligation. No one owes me none, so everything is fine. Fine. I said I am.
Pass the dutchie on the left hand side. Pass the dutchie on the left hand side. It a go done. Give me the music, make me jump. It a go done. Give me the music, make me jump. It was a cool and lonely, breezy afternoon. How does it feel when you got no food? Because it was the month of. How does it feel when you got no food? So I sleep. Oh, well. Hey, I'm from the stand for volcano sound and I've on me can't survive. Babylon, come and tell me that no.
Yeah.
You send me on it and pass it.
Once again, welcome out and thank y'all for tuning in right here to Black Power Media. We will catch y'all next week. Make sure y'all tune in. I mix what I like in the morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Make sure y'all check out Warrior Class this weekend. And maybe Sundays, we gonna see. Anyway, peace out. Black Power Media, y'all. Hey.